Hey guys, welcome back to another video that I said I was going to do yesterday. I apologize. Things just get out of hand sometimes as I'm working, but I do have a video today, and I'm going to talk about 5 essential things to know before the Narwhal launch. Now, I released a graphic in the Discord, but I wanted to do a video more in depth of something that you should expect, maybe how to play it better, change your expectations, whatever it may be, but it's to educate you on a Genesis pool, especially one that already has tokens in existence, not being Walrus and Walrus Share. So I just wanted to put this video out so that you all maybe could see it and be able to plan your next steps and maybe not panic whenever you see certain volatility. And you're kind of know what to expect. And I think that's the best way to approach it. You're supposed to be doing your own research. In this video, hopefully with 4 days left, is enough time to educate the majority of the community that could want to come in and be a part of Narwhal. So let's go ahead and look into it. So again, I do have a graphic. And I think it looks good. I worked on it the other day. And so, the very first step is brace yourself and research to understand how a Genesis pool works and what kind of price action to expect. Now, this is directly referring to the Genesis pool video I did, a month ago or something before, or 2 months ago now, with Walrus launch. A Genesis pool is not to be used to make profit. What you're doing is minting out the original supply of Narwhal to hit the open market so that we can begin to add liquidity. Without that, there is only pre-sales or other mechanics in place that you could expand the supply out. But I like the Genesis pool. It's much more safe. It's much more conservative. And it honestly is the best approach for you all as investors, because you're able to use the existing assets you already have in the ecosystem, being Walrus and Walrus Share, and be able to grow a position of Narwhal just completely passively. And also knowing what is coming, being that people are going to take their existing assets out of the current farms and put them in the Walrus or the Narwhal Genesis pool farms is very important to know, because with less TVL in those farms that print out Walrus Share and less Walrus Share in the boardroom, the APRs will likely go up in the Walrus side of things while this Genesis pool takes place, which is 2 weeks. So that's important to know. And I think that some of you all should probably keep some of your Walrus LP continue to be in those farms because you'll get much higher allocations, since other people will be taking out their positions and moving it to these Genesis pools to get the Narwhal. It's also important to know that Narwhal will have its own LP, Narwhal YUSD, in the Genesis pool with the highest allocations. The reason we do that is so that we can incentivize the liquidity that we need, and that is Narwhal. It's a new token. It'll be very volatile, so we need to make sure that we're incentivizing it the most so that new players and old players that are currently in the system are really bringing a lot of liquidity to that pool specifically. That's important. So farm, do not buy. This is the biggest mistake as a new investor, or even one that thinks they know how to trade. A Genesis pool is not a place to trade. If you buy Narwhal from the open market, understand the situation. And what I meant by that is understand that there is a limited supply of Narwhal getting printed out, about 7,000 daily from the Genesis pool for 2 weeks, right? If you're trying to buy into that, especially early on, just to get the earlier APRs from the Narwhal Genesis pool, you're likely going to get wrecked, because Narwhal is probably going to be at a premium for the very first time. Now, if you see Narwhal at a discount being under $1, that's a perfect opportunity to buy some. But realize the price impacts are going to be higher because we don't have 2 million liquidity like we do in the Walrus LP pool. So just keep that in mind, that you want to farm Narwhal. You're not looking to buy it. You're looking to farm it and add fresh YUSD. That is how you play a Genesis pool. What a Genesis pool is giving you early access to the first minted tokens and to build a position up early with the first 100,000 Narwhal that comes into existence over this 2 weeks. So that's really important for the health of the protocol, but also you as an investor. I've seen a lot of people try and buy in or game the Genesis pool. Doesn't work. It just doesn't. But I mean, okay, I'll say this. There is a certain amount of people that can play the Genesis pool correctly and try and make their profits and return of investments and know when to trade and buy, but they've been in the Tomb Fort game for 6 months. And if you haven't done that, if you ain't been walking in those shoes, I highly recommend just farming. So number 3, Start building Narwhal LP with fresh YUSD as early as possible. This will allow you to get a position to add to the Genesis pool with the highest allocations early to compound faster. So if it were me, I'm adding my Walrus share, I'm adding my Walrus LP, I'm starting to get Narwhal, and after probably about a couple hours, I'll get fresh USDC, or YUSD, I apologize, and pair it with that Narwhal, put it in the pool, and then start compounding my Narwhal position, just like that, because that is the highest allocations, and you are going to get the most out of that one. Start now, before the launch, and by that I mean plan, of what your expectation is of how much you want to get out of the Genesis farms. Exactly what positions are you moving over? How much allocations of YUSD are you starting with? Are you pairing everything? Are you waiting for Narwhal to hit a certain point before you add LP? All of these things need to be heavily considered before you just jump in. Because if you consider these and if you plan for them, the volatility decreases if en masse we all do it. Because everybody's probably going to have around the same expectations of the Genesis pool. Everyone's adding LP to the Genesis pool. It's just a lot cleaner of a process instead of just kind of gun-hoing it and then just like dumping rewards whenever you see Narwhal go from $10 to $6 or something. You see it a lot of times, and I think with this education push and all the Ask Me Anythings I'm doing, hopefully we can reduce that volatility with everyone kind of in agreement of how to play the Genesis pool. Next is 5, compound. Keep compounding your Narwhal until your position when Genesis ends, and you can use that same position, being Narwhal YUSD, to farm Walrus share. Now, Walrus share emissions for Narwhal YUSD will likely start before the end of the Genesis pool, along with the boardroom. But you just want to keep compounding that Narwhal. Why would you sell into a low liquidity situation when you've seen what Walrus can do? We can do the same thing with Narwhal with new liquidity coming into the ecosystem. It's very important that you're compounding. That's what really brings the positions up and up and up. And that's why we saw such a big effect with Walrus. And so we'll have the same exact, LP farms in Magic AC vaults with Narwhal early on, so that we can really get that deep liquidity that we saw with Walrus. Selling into a low liquidity coin is short term and likely you won't make much. And that's true. If there's only 10K liquidity and you farmed $1,000 worth of Narwhal and you try and dump it, that's a 10% price impact. You're going to get a hell of a lot less than what you thought you were going to get. So just keep that in mind. These are very important topics that I really wanted to make a video on, so I apologize that it's been so delayed. I'm trying to think, just making sure that there's nothing else that I want to cover. With this coming up, there is going to be volatility in both Walrus and Narwhal. There is going to be volatility in Walrus share. Brace for that. Really make sure that you're an educated investor, that you have the one up against people that may be trying to maliciously use the protocol to its advantage. And not saying that that's a bad thing or a good thing, just that you as an investor need to protect your investment. And the best way to do that is to watch videos such as mine or other videos that can kind of heighten your awareness as to what's going on with Genesis pools, how to play them. And again, I do have a good Genesis pool video that I released on the launch of Walrus that I highly recommend you go watch because it really breaks down what a Genesis pool is and how the allocations work and things like that. So again, I'll link that at the end of the video and you can watch that. And I do recommend that. Just go through my channel and make sure that you're comfortable with everything that I have on there, because I try and make sure that you're educated with the next moves that are coming out so that there's no confusion, because I think confusion causes panic and panic causes volatility. Volatility causes more panic. And so it's this spiraling effect. And so hopefully I've made you a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, the pools are opening on the 24th. At that point, you'll be able to pre-stake probably a day before. So you'll be able to take your positions that you want to. Go ahead and allocate them to those Genesis pool farms and start farming as early as you can. And then, you can start using the same 5 points I've had here to start navigating your position and how you want to use it. So again, I'm not here to tell you what to do, just kind of what to expect and how to plan better for it. And I hope you do that for your own sake. And I hope that Narwhal is super successful. I have a lot of hope. I'm very nervous. There's not a ton of new liquidity, but I think there are a lot of people that want it in Walrus that said, oh, I'll just buy it lower. And we never saw those lower prices yet, other than a couple of dips. So I really hope Narwhal is just as big as a success with one share token. I have a lot of high hopes. I'm really, really excited to bring you on Narwhal. I'm really, really excited to keep moving forward with multiple peg tokens and increase our TVL and liquidity, finding new ways to attract new users through whatever platform I can use. And I'm just so excited that if you're listening, you're going to be a part of Narwhal, that you'll come into our ecosystem and hopefully you're able to provide yourself some extra income. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody's having a good hype day and able to be excited about Narwhal. I'm doing a lot of things that hopefully you all see as right, and soon we will see how it plays out in the open market. The markets are looking good as of today, and hopefully we see that going into Sunday. So again, thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day.